Aftermarket versus OEM parts. With cars getting more expensive today to maintain, is it worth going with the aftermarket part? Today, let's discuss. Now, aftermarket parts are parts that are made by other companies other than the OEM, but they will fit and function just the same. Now, here are some of the categories on how I would determine if you want to use an aftermarket part. So for example, the function is super critical. If the labor rate is super high on the part, generally the biggest reason why people would use aftermarket part is to save cost and of course availability. So let's take a look at my junk pathfinder to see what kind of parts you would consider for the aftermarket. Now for body parts, I kind of categorize them 3 different ways. You've got structural, then you've got the finished parts, and then you've got parts that are superficial and don't really matter too much. Now for structural parts, that includes the rebar on the front here as well as the radiator support that sat in front of it. That forms the crumple zone of the vehicle. Now for rad support, you'd go with OEM, but those can get pretty expensive. Going with aftermarket, you got to make sure it's CAPA certified. That way you can pass inspection when you rebuild a crashed vehicle. Now for body parts on the finish of the vehicle, such as this fender here, I'd always recommend to go with OEM. Now there's a lot of aftermarket options out there, but a lot of them are not really great when it comes to fitment. Now for parts that make up the styling of the vehicle, mostly the plastic parts like our front bumper fascia or our headlights or maybe a mirror, I would take a chance with an aftermarket part if it's saving me significant amount of money. You have to make sure though there are some fancier headlights with adjustable LED beams. There are fancy bumpers that have radar sensors in them, or like this mirror here that has a camera underneath that you probably wouldn't want to take too much of a risk on. Now at the end of the day, you are going to get a part that has cheaper plastics, but hey, as long as the car fits, functions, and it doesn't fall or rust apart, it still works. Next up, we talk about suspension components in the vehicle, and that's where you have to do the math to see how long you're going to keep the vehicle, if it's worth investing in OEM struts, for example. Now in my recommendation, I'd find the OEM supplier for the strut and buy their aftermarket unit because it would be a lot cheaper. Now when it comes to chassis components, you can get away with using aftermarket parts, but you got to be aware of the differences. So for example, if you're changing a control arm, your ball joint to bushing distance might be a little different, or a tire rod and you're trying to count the threads as you're threading it in, you will have to do an alignment anyways because your geometry is going to change. That's within the tolerance of aftermarket parts. Certain aftermarket parts will have little upgrades, like this one's got a little grease fitting on it, which is nice to have. But be honest, if the OE lasted 200,000, it's just as good on here for another 200k. Now aftermarket batteries absolutely suck, no matter if you buy the best one or the worst. I've been changing mine every single winter recently on all of my cars. Even if you go back to the OE manufacturer, they'll never send you the factory one. The one I pulled out for my Lexus was like 9 years old and still working. Now when it comes to vehicle electronic components, for example mass airflow sensors and oxygen sensors, or even this airbag sensor, the electronics on your car are extremely sensitive, especially with CAN bus nowadays. Definitely want to go with OEM on that. Aftermarkets just never seem to work right. Now when it comes to upgrading your vehicle's interior electronics, I have no problem going with aftermarket. You'll see that I've used aftermarket screens in my previous videos and they worked out pretty well. Heck, I'm reviewing one right now. That's because most of this stuff is not safety or functionally critical. However, newer vehicles integrate these units very well with their safety systems, so you will have to do some research on that. So now that we've covered body, electronics, and suspension parts, there are some upgraded aftermarket parts that are actually better than the OEM equivalent. For example, oil filter housings where this would bolt up to, like on a Chrysler 3.6 Pentastar, are now made of plastic. Typically, plastic would crack or warp, and then you got a big oil leak, so the aftermarket has come up with a metal version to take care of that issue. Toyota themselves has actually gone back to plastic oil filter housing, so if you want to get a metal one, you can go aftermarket or find one of these in the junkyard. Now anything to do with internal engine parts, like a timing chain setup for example, I'd probably go with OEM on that, and that's because especially if you got variable valve timing, the tolerances are really tight, you really need a good factory part on there. In addition to internal engine components, I'd also go with OEM transmission components, also go with the OEM fluids as well. These are hydraulic devices that are very sensitive to things like fluid. They're also extremely expensive to replace and have a very high labor cost as well. Now when it comes to other fluids, you can definitely go with the aftermarket because guess who's making the original one? It's more important to have oil in the car than what type of oil it has. I've torn down many engines where it was either low or it had no oil at all, and even vegetable oil in there would have saved it. Now with filters, however, they're actually the same cost at the dealership versus going with aftermarket, and because I don't change oil often, I just tend to go with OE, but it depends on your vehicle. Now when it comes to cooling components, I'm fine using the aftermarket fluid. Just make sure that it is compatible with the vehicle, because it has to be compatible with all the components inside of here with the new aluminums and plastics that they're using today. I don't think it's worth paying double the price for the OEM stuff like I used to pay. Now when it comes to cooling system components, you can go with aftermarket, but you got to make sure you get a reputable supplier. There's a seal and there's a bearing inside of here, and if that goes bad, it's going to cause either the pulley to wobble and you get noise, or it's just going to leak out. Likewise, on a more complicated component like this AMG thermostat that's already preheated, you definitely want to go with OE on that. Now brake components, you do get what what you pay for. There's no warranty on these since it's a wear item, so seek out who's the best manufacturer for these. So for example, if Akebono makes brakes for Toyota, I would choose their pad. Now I want some of you guys to chime in on rotor quality, because after all, it's just a piece of steel and they're only distinguished by price and coating. Ignition coils are a good example of something very low labor rate, easy to swap out, but I'd still recommend going with the OE suppliers. You can see this Toyota coil is made by Denso, so you can get the Denso coil for a lot cheaper. Same thing with the spark plugs, they're either made by NGK or Denso. Now when it comes to wheels and tires, go ahead and have your say with aftermarket ones. Just make sure that they use hub-centric rings inside of here so that you don't have vibrations and the wheel is centered. Now AC compressor work can get extremely expensive, especially when you got to evacuate the system and refill it. Honestly, OEMs are going to be extremely expensive on this. If you get a used one that guarantee works, or you can find the OE manufacturer, I'd rather go with that than an aftermarket one. Now alternators are also a great example of where you can go aftermarket. However, if you want a good quality one, you should probably go to the brand name that made it. In this case, Bosch made it for Mercedes. Now if it was my car, I'd probably go to the junkyard and pull a good used OEM one. And this is a good example of parts availability in the aftermarket. When I had to replace the starter recently on my car, I took a chance with one that was delivered right to my doorstep, crossing my toes and wiping my nose on the made in China one, and I hope that it's going to work out. Axles and driveline components are fine in most aftermarket situations. The real issue is vibrations that you get when you're accelerating, so make sure you get one with a good warranty so that you can return it if you do feel that. You see, and that's the real key here. If you can seek out aftermarket components that are coming from OEM manufacturers, you can get a pretty good quality component because they were the one who worked with the OE brand in order to develop it. Now, getting used OEM parts are much better than aftermarket parts as long as the condition is good. So for example, this trunk I'm selling off my Pathfinder here, the buyer's going to have a fully assembled trunk with all of the pieces and already color matched, so they've saved themselves a lot of money. And you get to get away from your wife having fun at the junkyard for the day. I don't recommend it for things like exhaust components that are already going to be rotted out or very high labor components. So let's say you chose that aftermarket part and you want to know where to get it from. You go to a Canadian Tire here, you get the same exact part as if you go to Pep Boys in America. And the reason is the mold for this thing exists only a couple of places in the world, and they're just stamping it out for everybody and distributing it. And at the distribution level, they're also reboxing things into different boxes. You get the same part with a different price and a different logo on the box and a different warranty. Now the return policy and the warranty is really what can distinguish them if the part is the same thing in the box. The other thing is the aftermarket is not really regulated in any way. So for example, if we're making this water pump at an OE level, let's say it has to last a million cycles in rotation, the aftermarket is just going to copy what it looks like and it'll fit and function on the vehicle alright, but there's no quality standard that it has to pass, so you are taking a risk in the long term in terms of durability. The other thing is aftermarkets are going to consolidate designs and materials for everything that they make because they make it for different brands and different vehicles. So for example, if I'm the aftermarket supplier of these engine mounts, now if I'm mixing a rubber formulation for these, I'm going to mix a formulation that's got stiffness enough for this one and this one. They're not going to be the equivalent of OE, and that's where vibration characteristics can vary from OE for engine mounts or control arm bushings, for example. And that's where you want to draw the line. If you really want the OE characteristics, you're going to have to pay up for that. Now it could also happen in stamped steel. So for example, if I'm buying a huge roll of carbon steel for these stampings, I'm going to buy the same gauge, and it could either benefit one or be a detriment to the other one. In addition, coatings here are also going to be different compared to OE. You'll have aftermarket parts generally rust a lot faster because of the coatings they use. You see, it's those small things that makes the aftermarket part a lot cheaper because they can consolidate different designs and materials and coatings. At the end of the day though, it still fits and functions on the car somehow. And that's my opinion on aftermarket parts. You might want to skip out on aftermarket turbochargers though. Now I want you to tell me in the comment section down below what your experience is with aftermarket parts and if they've been working out for you. And make sure you subscribe if you want to see more videos just like this one.